Whispers in the snow. It's a bitterly cold night, the kind where the wind howls like 1,000 lost souls, and the snow falls in thick sheets, covering everything in a layer of white silence. A small cabin stands alone at the edge of a snow-covered forest, nestled in the mountains. Inside, the fireplace crackles, casting a warm, flickering glow across the room. Lena, a writer seeking solitude, had rented the cabin for the weekend, hoping the isolation would spark her creativity. But tonight, something feels different. The air is heavy, and the silence unsettling. As the snowstorm intensifies, the wind slams against the windows, and a strange sound begins. At first, it's faint, a soft scraping at the door. Lena brushes it off as the boss. How did it know? How could it know what she was thinking? A place where reality is warped, and the rules of time and space don't apply. The figure steps forward again, and this time, "Why?" Lena whispers, her voice cracking. "Why are you doing this?" The figure pauses, its expression unreadable, before it lets out a low, mocking laugh. "Because Lena, you don't belong here. This place, this storm, it's made for me." The hand grazing her cheek. The touch sends a shock through her entire body, freezing her in place. Her vision blurs and she gasps for air, but it's like the air itself is being sucked away. The snowstorm rages around them, but Lena feels trapped. Is the figure's eyes locked onto hers as the world around her collapses into nothingness. Lena's heart races in the suffocating darkness, her body still unable to move. She can feel the cold creeping deeper into her chest, suffocating her from the inside out. The whispers are no longer distant. They are inside her mind, swirling around, clawing at her thoughts. "Help me, Lena. You have to help me." The voice is now so loud, it feels as though it's coming from within her own head, echoing in every crevice of her mind. She closes her eyes, squeezing them shut in an attempt to block out the tormenting sound, but it only grows louder. Suddenly, the darkness around her begins to shift. The ground beneath her seems to pulse, the vibrations growing more intense. The figure is still there, looming at the edge of her vision, its eyes burning through the void. It steps closer, its form rippling like smoke, twisting and contorting with every movement. "You can't escape," the figure whispers, its voice a distorted version of her own, sickly sweet and yet chill, feeling thin and cold like she's suffocating. Panic claws at her throat, and for the first time in what feels like forever, it's not just the figure. The storm itself seems to close in, the howling winds returning in a deafening roar, pushing against her like an invisible force. She runs, her feet stumbling in the deep snow, but no matter how fast she moves, she feels